Trump's unauthorized Iran strike is a constitutional crisis, not just a political one. By Azlan Adnan, M.A., on the night of June 21, 2025, President Donald Trump unleashed U.S. airstrikes on 3 of Iran's most critical nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, without notifying most of Congress, let alone securing their approval. The attack, executed under a veil of executive secrecy, was immediately hailed by some in his base as a show of strength. But it has also unleashed a furious constitutional debate in Washington, where lawmakers from both parties are raising one urgent question. Has the president overstepped the bounds of his authority so far that impeachment is now on the table? The U.S. Constitution is clear. The power to declare war rests with Congress. Though the president is commander-in-chief, that title does not confer a blank check for launching preemptive strikes on foreign countries, especially absent a clearly defined and imminent threat. Trump's defenders, including Senator Lindsey Graham, argue that his actions fall within Article 2 powers, claiming urgency and necessity. But this argument, used repeatedly over decades of presidential military adventurism, has worn dangerously thin. There was no emergency. No American lives were under immediate threat. The president simply acted alone. That's not just troubling. It's impeachable. The case for impeachment. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was unequivocal. This is a grave violation of the Constitution. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Representative Sean Casten of Illinois called it an unambiguous impeachable offense, noting that the decision to bypass Congress nullifies the role of the people's elected representatives in deciding questions of war and peace. In a constitutional democracy, process matters. War isn't just about bombs and battlefields. It's about the legal authority and legitimacy behind those actions. When that framework is abandoned, we move closer to autocracy than any free society can afford. Even some Republicans, including Representatives Thomas Massie and Matt Rosendale, have joined Democrats in condemning the president's actions. Massie, known for his strict constitutionalist views, warned that allowing Trump's decision to go unchallenged would further erode the war-making powers of Congress. A war powers reckoning. Instead of rushing into impeachment, however, congressional leadership is taking a more measured, strategic approach. Their first step: reassert control over military engagement through updated war powers resolutions, now circulating in both chambers. In the House, Democrats have introduced a resolution that would bar any further military operations against Iran without congressional authorization, while requiring withdrawal from any current engagement within 30 days. Senator Tim Kaine has introduced similar legislation in the Senate. There is also talk of attaching these restrictions to the must-pass $350 billion defense budget, using the power of the purse to force the issue. This strategy would compel the White House to negotiate and could bind Trump to legal limits, without requiring the 2/3 Senate vote needed for impeachment. For now, this approach offers a constitutional pressure valve. But if the president continues to ignore Congress or launches further strikes, impeachment will almost certainly move from political rhetoric to legislative reality. Public backlash and strategic calculations. Public sentiment is turning. Polls show that nearly 60% of Americans oppose military escalation with Iran, and many are alarmed by the president's disregard for congressional consultation. A sizable number of voters, especially younger Americans, are increasingly skeptical of foreign entanglements, and Trump's go-it-alone approach may backfire politically. At the same time, Republicans are split. Some, like Senator Graham and Speaker Mike Johnson, remain firmly in Trump's corner. But others are quietly questioning the wisdom and legality of his actions. The tension reflects deeper divisions in the Republican Party over foreign policy and executive authority. Democratic leaders, meanwhile, are treading carefully. An impeachment that fails in the Senate could strengthen Trump politically, just as previous attempts did. That risk explains the current focus on legislative limits rather than formal impeachment articles, at least for now. A precedent in the making. What happens next will define more than just the remainder of Trump's presidency. It will set a precedent for the future of American democracy. If Congress does nothing, it effectively surrenders its constitutional role in matters of war. If it succeeds in reasserting authority through legislation or impeachment, it sends a clear message. No president is above the law, not even in matters of national security. This is not simply a foreign policy issue or a matter of party politics. It is a constitutional moment. America must decide whether to uphold the structure of shared powers or allow one man to act as judge, jury, and executioner on the global stage. The Iran strike is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a reckoning. And if Congress refuses to act now, history will remember this moment not as a defense of national security, but as a dereliction of constitutional duty. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again, its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.